Sheikh Bedreddin, 1359–1420, Ottoman Turkish, was a famous Muslim Sufi theologian and charismatic preacher who led a rebellion against the Ottoman Empire in 1416. His full name was Sheikh Bedreddin Muhammad bin Israel bin Abdulaziz. He was a son of the local Turkish Muslim judge and his converted Greek wife in the Anatolian city of Semaphore in the European Samavna, today Kyprianos in Greece. Bedreddin's father, whose name was Israel, was the great-great-son of the Seljuk Sultan of Rum Kakars II and Kad of the town. His mother was Malakatun. Bedreddin began his education in this town. Later he went to Bursa and then to Cairo, where he heard lectures on astronomy, mathematics, logic, and philosophy. He studied law and other Islamic subjects. While in Cairo, he was tutor to the son of the Mamluk Bakyuk, the first sultan of the Burji dynasty. He married Jaziba Hatun, a Mamluk princess. Sheikh Bedreddin's b. 1358–9 father was Turkish and his mother Greek. His father Israel studied jurisprudence in Samarkand before returning to Thrace, where he is thought to have joined Haji Beg, a Turkoman marcher lord. Haji Beg took the city of Didimotage some years before Adrianople fell. 1361. As one of Haji Beg's commanders, Bedreddin's father seems to have been rewarded with the castle of Samavna, being assigned to it as commander and jurist. Here he married the vanquished Byzantine commander's daughter, Balivit 2000. In accordance with the times, Bedreddin would have learned to read the Quran from his father and Greek from his mother. It is thought he would have also learned about Christianity in this way, as most likely his mother would have continued to practice her religion. Having continued his studies under various local clerics, at the age of 20 Bedreddin appears to have gone first to Bursa then to Konya. In Konya he is thought to have studied astronomy under the tutelage of a mystical Kabbalist, Aharufi, who believed God is embodied in the Arabic and Persian alphabets. From the Bedreddin is known to have gone to Cairo. Having gone on the Hajj to Mecca, Bedreddin was appointed tutor to the Mamluk Sultan Bakyuk's 1382–99 son. In the palace he came under the influence of another cleric from Anatolia, Sheikh Alati. On the Sultan's instigation, Alati and Bedreddin married two sisters who were his concubines. Bedreddin's son Ismail was born from this marriage. Ibid. Alati was a Sufi interested in philosophy, astrology, medicine and chemistry. He persuaded Bedreddin to go to Tabriz, which at the time was the center of Harufism, the Kabbalistic Sufi doctrine mentioned above. On his return to Cairo, Alati appointed Bedreddin his lieutenant. When Alati died in March 1397, Bedreddin took over as sheikh, but is said to have been unable to cope with the politics of such a position. Sheikh Bedreddin left his post in 1403 to return to Anatolia, a time when the Ottoman Empire was at a crossroads. Ibid. Tamerlane had defeated Bayezid at Ankara, 1402, and divided up the Ottoman realms between Bayezid's sons. Korea. Amid the dynastic struggles following the Battle of Ankara and the death of Sultan Bayezid I, Musa Celebi appointed Bedreddin chief military judge, Kaz Askar. When in 1413 Musa's brother and chief rival Mehmet Celebi became sultan, Bedreddin was exiled to Iznik. Sheikh Bedreddin's first stop appears to have been in Aleppo, where it is said he was met by 1,000 Turkoman. Ibid. However, there is no explanation offered as to why this should be so. From here Sheikh Bedreddin journeyed to Konya, the old Seljuk capital, where the Ottomans' arch-foes the Karaman had been reinstated by Tamerlane. In Konya the sheikh appears to have contacted an adherent of Haji Bayram, whose activities were centered on the cloth makers in Ankara, in 1973. After Konya, Sheikh Bedreddin is known to have traveled to Jermian, whose former ruler likewise had been reinstated. From Jermian the sheikh went on to nearby Aden, where he may have gained Balklus Mustafa and Torluk Kemal's adherents. Torluk means untamed colt. The Torluks were Kalendaris. The new ruler of Aden, Kunid, also seems to have become a devotee of the sheikhs. From Aden Sheikh Bedreddin appears to have gone the island of Chios as well. Unable to get to Thrace from because the Saruhan navy was blocking passage across the North Aegean, It is likely the Shaykh was forced to return to Western Anatolia at a time when Bayezid's son Mehmed challenged his brother Isa in Bursa. Isa headed a coalition of the reinstated principalities of Aydin, Saruhan and Mentesh, almost all of Western Anatolia. Balivit 2000. From Western Anatolia, Sheikh Bedreddin appears to have withdrawn to his retreat in Edirne until Bayezid's son Musa took control of the Balkans. Musa appointed Sheikh Bedreddin his chief jurist, c. 1405-6. There is no doubt that the Sheikh was renowned throughout Islamdom, which helps to explain Musa's appointment. However, it is thought the Sheikh accepted the post of chief jurist in order to further his plans for an uprising. As chief jurist he appointed many unpaid Ghazis fighting on the frontiers to Timariots in the Balkan hinterland, arguably ensuring a de facto following. Whatever the Sheikh's ambition, in time Mehmed defeated Musa and had him strangled, exiling Sheikh Bedreddin to Iznik on a stipend, 1412. Continuing to write his many books in Iznik, Sheikh Bedreddin appears to have got back together with Borklus Mustafa, appointing him his lieutenant. Soon enough Borklus Mustafa started a revolt in the Sheikh's name in 1415, but after putting up fierce resistance in his mountain stronghold he was caught and crucified by Mehmed I's son Murat. This appears to have sparked a separate revolt by Tawluk Kemal and 3,000 of his adherents in nearby Aydin, but he too was caught and executed, as was a third, Ajoglu. It is thought all three rebelled on Sheikh Bedreddin's instigation, their failures forcing the Sheikh to leave Iznik and seek refuge with the Isfendirids in Kastamonu on the Black Sea. Unwelcome in Kastamonu, Sheikh Bedreddin appears to have set sail for Crimea, the presence of Genoa's pirates forcing him to land in present-day Romania instead. From there he journeyed to Dobrua, 1416, a Babai center since the 13th century, where he started the uprising he is thought to have been preparing since his return. Ibid. Revolt and death. In 1416 he led the revolt against the Sultan in the Aegean coastal region of Anatolia. The main uprising theme of Bedreddin and his companions, Tawluk Kemal and Borklus Mustafa, was to share the land equally among people of Karabayran and not to pay the high taxes demanded by the local representatives of the Central Ottoman government. Borklus Mustafa, after a series of initial victories on the troops of the Sultan, had to withdraw on the Karabayran Peninsula with 10,000 of his men. A final battle took place in the Valley of the Torment, located between Baklava village and Girants Bay, on the Karabayran Peninsula, where all his men were slaughtered. Borklus Mustafa was crucified while Sheikh Bedreddin was taken to the city of Seraz where he was hung. This was the end of a remarkable uprising. After the revolt was put down, Bedreddin was hanged in 1420 at Seraz and buried there. In 1961 Sheikh Bedreddin's remains were transferred from Greece to the mausoleum of Sultan Mehmed in Divanayalu, Istanbul, and the date mentioned on the tomb is 1418 or 820 AH. Books and writings. His writings were condemned by a number of Ottoman official religious scholars such as Kadsaid. Others instead praise the Sheikh. His writings and especially activist understanding of justice against some local governors was interpreted by as a proto-socialist movement. Then he has been introduced as a popular figure coming from the past among Turkey's left-wing politics who were trying to nationalize their political opinions. Natsim Hikmet was jailed for inciting rebellion after encouraging military cadets to read Bedreddin's work. The musicians Sumkaraku and Zulfulivanli composed a song based on a Hikmet's epic poem, The Odyssey of Sheikh Bedreddin. In Hikmet's work, Bedreddin and his companions were considered like socialist rebellions who emphasized that all things must be shared except the lips of the beloved. Whereas, Bedreddin was writing in his famous book Vridat that all things belong to Allah and people will get close to Allah as much as they get free of them. Many famous Sufis such as Nazim Misri and Muhammad Nur, who are named as the founders of Malamatiyur, wrote some books and praised Bedreddin as the second biggest Sufi after Ibn Arabi.